Peace, 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 people. What's good? It's your brother, saanuaqa. Chilling out here, the river. You know, I got Mama Hedaru to the right of me. Y'all think it kind of looks like the left, but yeah, that's because of the reverse. But yeah, man, as promised, your brother is back. I'm smiling because I'm happy. Yes, indeed. Living life, man. I found me a nice rock, you know what I'm saying? To sit next to the water, man, you know I'm feeling great. I'm mad that the sun ain't out right now. Well, I ain't mad, but, you know, because it actually feels pretty good out here, summertime. Yeah, man, I was supposed to come out here a little earlier, but I ate me a nice lunch. You know how that is. Man, I ate that lunch, I ain't feel like going nowhere. So y'all getting this about 4 hours later than what it should be. But nevertheless, this is when it's supposed to be. So here we go. Let me see. So, what I wanted to talk about, I wanted to re-spark this conversation about divination. You know, actually I'm going to use divination to talk about another subject, which is right along that same lines. You know, I think that atheists need to really ask themselves, what do they really believe about the subject? Because what I find when you talk to a lot of atheists is that really you got people who are basically just mad at Christianity and mad at Islam. You know what I mean? People done, you know, they're smart folks, you know, they're looking critically at things, and, you know, you got people did research and they come up with real good reasons why, you know, these religions have issues with them. I'm gonna be politically correct because I don't want to hurt nobody. You know what I mean? I beat up on Christians too much. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna come here and beat up on Christians. I'm trying to grow up from beating up on Christians. But you know, because really all religions are valid. You know, even Christianity, you know, Islam. Every religion is valid according to the individual's level of growth. And that's why they exist. They exist for the different people at the different levels of spiritual attainment. That's why, you know, a Christian, you know, certain Christians can't really hear you when you really start going in deep on some metaphysics and, you know, you getting into the ancient Kemetic stuff. They really can't, they're not there yet. It's like talking to, you know, a younger grader. If you're an older grader, you're a 12th grader, you're talking to folks who are not at that level. They're not going to understand what you're talking about. And by the same token, it's like, you know, I mean, you know, I can have a conversation with a Christian person where they're at. You know what I mean? I can appreciate certain things about Christianity, even though I know it's not for me. That just comes, you know, I can understand it. It's just an understanding or overstanding, however you want to say it. You know, I get it. I get it because I get where you're at. I get, you know, that level because I was there at some point. You know, but you know, so basically, all the religions have a level of validity, and someone who from an older spiritual understanding can tell you that. You know, a Christian will never say that about any other religion because they are under the misconception that only theirs is the truth. So we ain't gonna get into that. Oh, but what I'm talking about is atheism, right? So you find that a lot of atheists, you know, they'll beat up on Christianity because they were Christians before, and you know, or they were Muslims before, and you know, like life kind of, you know, when looking critically, when getting away from the view of religious dogma, they see that there are issues with the doctrine, there are issues with tenets, there are issues with various things when you get into the specifics involved about those religions. You know, and so then just say, okay, well, there's no God, right? Say no. That's not the thing. That's not the thing you do. Not if you're a sincere individual, you know, who's a spiritual person. You know what I mean? If you have a spiritual inkling, you know, then it's not, you know, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, it's like, okay, well, you know, like, first of all, you got to get on your critical thinker thing. You know, put your critical thinking hat on and say, all right, well, you know, I got problems with this thing over here that was said. Let me find out about the origins. And from that, you'll derive a whole lot about the religion. You know what I mean? If you're an atheist, you should be able to break down the origins of religion, right? Of the various religions. And it shouldn't be only, I was only Christian. I never was Muslim, I never was Buddhist, I never was Vedic, I never was Hindu, I never was anything else besides what I was, and I've decided that there is no God. No, that's just insincerity, and I guess I'm gonna be a little bit harsh. I call it crybabyism, because you mad at the experience that you had, and you using that experience to color everybody's life, and you can't do that. You don't know enough to do that, right? So the thing is to be humble, have a certain amount of humility to say, hey, well, maybe that wasn't it, but there's other things out here, and who am I? You a baby walking into this earth, walking into this world and just having experiences. You want to just start interpreting your experiences from nothing? No, you need to go to someone who at least has a word about it. Be humble, do some study. You know what I mean? That was your old religion. Get into something else, right? Keep looking for that thing which created us, because obviously there's something in you that tells you it's true. This world was obviously put together by an intelligent design. Now I say obviously, and the atheists will debate me on that. That's because really every man's proof of God is personal. That's another conversation, but it's true. It's like, if you come from a certain, mindset or school of thought or whatever, and I come and tell you all about God, and it's from my experience, you can listen to me, but you'll not necessarily look at that as law. No one man's experience of God is going to turn around and be another man's experience of God, because it's really like a subjective thing, because God doesn't show itself in an objective way. It shows itself in a subjective way. God proves itself to individuals according to where they are in their journey, their level of attainment. If you know something about it, then God will show something about it. If you have a certain amount of sincerity about life and you just want to know the truth, God will show you the truth, because at the end of the day, God is in here. That's where God is. You know what I mean? We come to this earth, to have experience. Earth, yes, I said it, earth, with an F, earth. We come to earth to have experiences, man. You know what I mean? We come to, look at that, man, that's earth. Yeah, it ain't it's scenery, it's nature. It's nature mixed in with some man-made stuff, but it's beautiful, man. And that's what we come here. We come here to breathe the earth, breathe the air, I say. You know what I mean? To feel and touch and deal with all of this, because before this, we're spirit. We're out there in the spiritual realm. You know what I mean? We come here to have experience, and this is part of it. You know what I mean? Contemplating this thing of what and is this and why are we here is part of it. It's part of the journey. It's part of the reason why we have experiences, to come up with the answers for these questions. But so yeah, man, I just, I like to put that back to the atheists. It's like, hey man, I got a way that you could prove if there's actually a God or if there's not. How about that? Are you humble enough to deal with that part of it? To the part of it where, there's a certain methodology that you could go about, a certain, practices that you could go about to verify this experience of God for yourself, right? And nobody, you don't have to sit there and debate and argue with somebody over whether or not there's a God. Just do these things, and if there's a God, it will show itself to you through this process. And if you don't find that in that, right, you don't find the answers there, then that's your proof as well. You'll have proof that there is no God, right? What I say to you is get a nice oracle, right? Or if you ain't that deep into it, get a nice reader. Find somebody who reads. Find somebody who's a good reader of, and not just any oracle, right? Because all oracles are not created equal. We're going to talk about that. But, a spiritual oracle, one that gives spiritual counsel, right? One that gives, deep understanding of what and why, right? The what and but the why of the what, right? we're talking about things like the I Ching, right? The I King, right? These are, you know, the manifestation of nature, or the different manifestations of the various elements, right? Yin and yang put together on certain frequencies, right? To show you different aspects of life, right? Let this thing now read on your day, right? I say the I Ching, but there's also, you know, even more so is the Meduniter oracle, right? The Meduniter is a beautiful oracle based on the Tree of Life system, right? And you know, what makes it beautiful is that it covers all of the aspects of the being. It speaks about the various aspects of the being, and through understanding these various aspects, you're able to place all life phenomena in its category and read what is happening at a particular time. You know, you don't need understanding the Tree of Life, right? You don't necessarily need an oracle to interpret reality. All you got to do is know the signs and symbols. Know where everything fits in its category, and you'll know which aspect of God is talking at that particular time. All right, let me get back to what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying to the atheist is, for 7 days, you get a spiritual reading, a general reading. You say, please comment on my day, this Monday, this Tuesday, this Wednesday, Thursday, all the way up to Sunday, right? Or whichever day you started, whatever it is, right? And you write that question down, and at the end of the night, right, you write down certain details about your experience of that day, right? I'm gonna bet you any amount of money that when you do this, that oracle is gonna tell you something about your day. It's gonna tell you something specific about your experience in that day. You know, whether it's you met a particular individual, it's gonna talk about it in a way that you understand that, and you'll be able to relate that detail to that keynote. And you'll be able to see that there is something intelligent that knows beforehand, right? Because we're going to ask about this on one day. We're going to get our readings for all of these days, and then we're going to live those days, right? And you could even do it on, you know, one day at a time. You could do it each day if you can actually read, you know what I mean? You know, because, you know, I say, you know, one day, because you might want to get that reader, do all 7 readings for all 7 days, get all 7 answers, right? But you don't want to color the answer any way, you know? You don't want to color it by knowing, okay, well, if Monday my day is going to be Het Haru, you know what I mean, then there's certain things that I'm going to do or that I'm not going to do that involves, you know, women or various Het Haru things, right? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to influence it like that. So you might want to just do the reading for the day if you can, if you have the ability to, right? If you have the knowledge to. But do that reading for that day and look at the details of your day, and I guarantee you that there is something intelligent speaking on your tomorrow, right? And from that, you must say that that's God. That's some kind of God. That's, you know what I mean? If it's speaking intelligently about what you about to do tomorrow, right? You know, even if it's ancestors or whatever, it's something intelligent that is beyond you and your level of comprehension, right? You asking a question, right? So yeah, man, that's the way that an atheist, a sincere human who's just seeking truth, not some jaded individual who's trying to prove that there ain't no God, right? Because you will do that, right? You'll do that for yourself. You'll go ahead and prove through your logic, your rational or irrational, you know, summings up of life. You'll do it, right? You'll find the things that go ahead and prove yourself. You're that powerful, right? But if you're a sincere individual and you humbly ask, you say, God, I want to know the truth. You know what I mean? Or is, you know, if there's a God, if there's a creator, if there's some intelligent way that all of this came together, I want to know the truth about it. Break it down for me. I guarantee you that that answer will show up. It'll show up through humans and, you know, your life experiences. It'll show up through your dreams. It'll show up in various ways. It'll show up, right? You know, it's like we come to, again, I'll get back on my earlier subject. We come to this planet to have experiences, right? You know, God set up certain laws, said if you violate this, this is going to happen. You know, this is, if you throw this energy out there, this is what you're going to get back, right? The laws of karma, etc., right? And so now we get on this earth and, you know, like, what does that mean, first of all, right? You know, the ancient Egyptians basically told us that, you know, God comes here to have experience, right? To experience its creation, right? And so it just makes sense that we would put certain things in place that we would be able to have a clue. Like, you know what I mean? If I knew I was playing a game with myself, right? That I'm gonna go ahead and lose my consciousness, right? And I'm gonna grow up from a baby to where I am, right? I'm gonna live life and I'm gonna deal with life in a way that explains and shows my, you know, my spiritual elevation or whatever it is, right? If I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna leave myself landmarks, road marks. I'm gonna leave myself ways to know, right? You know, ways to verify, you know, what this stuff is, right? And so to that degree, you know, you have the various oracles that life has set up, right? You know, you look at astrology. Astrology is mind-bogglingly beautiful. You know what I mean? That's something, I mean, you know, a snapshot of the earth at the time you took your first breath, right? Bang! I mean, not the earth, the sky, right? Snapshot of what's going on in the heavens at the time that you were born. I mean, that's genius. When you look at it, you can figure out a lot of things. Like, you, through astrology, you can know, you know, whether the person's fat or skinny, or, you know, whether or not the person, you know, like how their children will be, how their mother will be, how their father will be, what your experience of your siblings will be, on and on. What's the best, you know, career that you're suited for? You know what I mean? What were you like in a past life? Like, these are all answered by this snapshot, and that's an oracle. That's like the ultimate oracle. I mean, that's the ultimate clue on what this thing is going to be about. You know, you can take your baby's chart and have a great idea of what type of individual this person is going to be when they grow up, or at least, you know, you'll understand the, you know, the field that they'll be on, right? And of course, you know, we are not our astrology. We're not our sun, our moon, our rising sign. We're not those things, right? We're that white light that goes through these filters, right? So life is about how light can you shine that, how bright can you shine that light as you go through the filters, right? And it's beautiful, and that's in the sky. Like, you know, now you can go, you know, everywhere. You got tea leaves, right? The Hindus, they got oracles in the tea leaves. You got cowrie shells. You got yarrow stalks. You got all kinds of, you know, you got water, right? All of the elements, right? People look at fire, look at, you know, there's people who can, you know, look into a candle and, you know, get it, right? So, you know, it's funny to me because, like, I find great beauty in the fact that the Creator set this thing up and communicates with us in this way, right? You know, I mean, you see those pictures that I got up there, my NFTs. You know, that's I'm no Photoshop dude. I'm not somebody who can manipulate those images like that. I mean, like, I can if I really tried, but they wouldn't be as authentic as what you see in those photos. I didn't show myself that. God showed me that. You know, showed me that because he wanted me to spark this conversation back up with y'all. You know, so, you know, so that's that, man. Yeah, man. Nature. I find it deep that the Egyptian word for nature is nectar, or I should say the Egyptian word for God is nectar. And we just, on a haphazard, the English language calls this nature. All right, that's clues, man. That's clues. Yo, this your brother Sa saying what up from out here in Netter, right? We got a lot to talk about. Peace and love, y'all. I'll be back.